I'm in the middle of changing the time. Okay. This is supposed to be it. Go to the sub-venue and... Aren't I supposed to talk to Dory, though? Have you decided to buy information from me? Paimon's a little curious about your exclusive information, but we need to hear the price first. If it's too expensive, then forget it. I'll sell it to you for the fixed price of 1 million mora. That's a lot! Never mind, 1 million mora can buy lots and lots of tasty food. Wait a sec, let me see. Eh? Paimon is customer number 1001 for today? The original cost of the information was 1 million more, but for you, the price is now free. Eh? Paimon didn't know such luck exists. Wait, you're not baiting us into spending, are you? Maybe the first sentence is free, but not the next sentence. If you don't want it, fine. Next. Wait. Forget what Paimon said. We'll listen. Dory's exclusive scoop number 1. Do you remember the Diadem of Knowledge? Paimon remembers that only the champion was entitled to wear the diadem. It seemed very valuable. Exactly. The diadem that Sachin gave the academia was a rather expensive antique. Yet this very diadem, after it was donated to the academia, was lost by them once before. Eh? Why didn't we hear about this? Heh, if everyone knew about this, would my information still be considered exclusive? Of course, this information doesn't come from nowhere. I've got witnesses, too. There's a young fellow named Kashmir from the suburbs. If you're interested in delving further, you could ask him. The password is that incident from 20 years ago. Kashmir. Interesting. So... Okay. Competition on the sand. Yeah. Will Kashmir have any information regarding... Oh, navigate. Alright. I see what you're putting down.
Everyone hold hands!
Okay. This is like... if you just want to know more about what's actually going on. My god, where is he? Oh god. Suburbs? Sir? Is that it? Hey. Hello, Mr. Mans. Who are you guys? Is there something you need? No. That incident from 20 years ago. I guess I shouldn't have told anyone. Last time I had too much to drink and blabbered a little too much, and now people are seeking me out. Since you're curious, I guess I'll tell you. I was just 6 years old 20 years ago, so I can't remember clearly what happened at the time. But recently, I read the diary I kept when I was a child, and vaguely recalled the situation back then. The Inter-Darshan Championship was also held that year. There were 3 rounds, the last of which was outside the city. I begged my mom to take me out of town to see it, and when she refused, I snuck out. And then... I ended up getting lost outside the city. In the middle of nowhere, there was no one around. I grew more and more frightened and began to cry. That's when I saw some strange creatures. I can't remember what they looked like. I only remember how, as a child, I stopped crying at the sight of them. Strange creatures, they must be the Aranara. They took me to the competition. Unfortunately, by the time we got there, it was too late. It was already over. Just when I was disheartened, I suddenly saw one of those strange creatures slowly dragging a crown along. It was a beautiful crown, shining in the moonlight, and I could not help but follow it. I saw the little fellow hide the crown in a hollow tree before disappearing. I wanted to touch that crown, but at the moment, I could hear the distant cries of my mother. Turns out she figured out I was lost and got her neighbors to go looking for me. I never got to touch it. It wasn't until I was older, when I saw the Diadem of Knowledge at the Inter-Darshan Championship, that I realized it was the same thing. Alright, do you remember what that diadem and where that diadem ended up? It's probably in the Avidya forest, but I've been back a few times and I haven't found anything. No one would believe me, even if I told them. Alas, even I can't remember it clearly. Perhaps it was a dream I had when I was a child. Well, should we go look for it, traveler? Thank you, good sir. What exactly happened back then?
I see everything.
Hello, old people.
Hey!
Keep some Samara roses on hand.
Ah,
There'll always be a use for them.
okay. Huh. Interesting. At least they're letting us know about the optional side quests and not making them hidden like some other events that we had before. Lord. Am I gonna meet an R&R? Huh. Oh, shoot. Oh. Oops. There's a hole in the tree. It seems completely empty and there's nothing in it. Eh, wait! There's a note there. The good Nara taught Arakasyapa how to read. Arakasyapa must protect the good Nara. What's this supposed to mean? Alright. Sachin's article. Ask Dory for information. Bruh. Faint traces of writing can be seen on the weathered note. The good Nara taught Arakasyapa how to read. Arakasyapa must protect him. Okay. Okay, time to go back to Dory, I guess. More lore, baby, for this one-time event. Give me your secret story. Well, well, if it isn't Zeno and Paimon yet again. I have the latest update on the Academia Extravaganza. Would you like to hear it? How much is it? It's free! Isn't Lord Sangamo Bay generous? Do you guys remember Sachin? The guy who sponsored the Academia Extravaganza. Paimon heard that the prize money and Diadem of Knowledge came from him. Bingo! In fact, not long ago, when I was doing business in the desert, I met an old businessman. And guess what I got from him? A dealer's ledger. With it, I can avoid dangerous areas in the desert and go to more places. Of course, the most important thing is that the ledger mentions Sachin. It turned out that Sachin had been to the desert to investigate the people's local conditions and customs. He also had cordial exchanges with the traveling merchants in the desert. Much of the text is lost, but this is the first-hand account of the big sponsor behind the Academia Extravaganza. Would you like a look? Okay, let's have a look then. Old papers. The sandstorms are raging. The caravan has stalled. We ran into a scholar calling himself Sachin. He said he could sponsor the caravan provided that we This is a trial of human nature, betrayal, plunder. There was nothing we could do. No one could withstand. If I could do it all over again, I would never have taken that money. Then they wouldn't have had to die, and I wouldn't be living like this, a fate worse than death. People are the most terrifying animals in this world. What the fuck is this? And this is all hard to understand. Dory, what does this all mean? What does this all mean? I'm afraid that if you need it analyzed, it'll cost you an extra million Mara. Forget it then. Well, since you're not paying, that'll be all for Dory's special news. But let me give you a hint. There should be someone here who's been to a lot of Academia extravaganzas. Perhaps you could talk to them. Ooh, talk to someone at the venue. Interesting. Well, here's some food for thought. Why did Sachin sponsor the Academia extravaganza? Ooh. Ooh, that's a good question. Talk to people at the venue. Oh, interesting. The venue, which is now in our village. Oh. Hmm. I hope I don't run into the plot. Huh. Oh, I see. Vasudeva. Alas, seeing these young children, I can't help but reminisce about the past. The Interdarshan Championship has always been a stage for young talent. Unfortunately, not every genius will be successful eventually. Why do you say that? Geniuses are mostly stubborn and cold, and find it hard to understand the pain of others. Empathetic people, on the other hand, often fall into self-doubt and depression. Ha 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 ha. Ha. People who are not firm can only stand still, while people who are determined but walk down the wrong path refuse to look back. There's a lot to think about here. Interesting. Huh. Hello, sir. For this year's Interdarshan Championship, my favorite has to be Sino, Uvishka. Aside from his skills as the General Mahamatra, looking back at the tournament's history, the Spantamad Darshan has the highest percentage of champions. Many people say that the Spantamad Darshan produces many talented people, such as Cyrus, Ruzika, Lisa, Sino. The brighter the talent, the sooner the game will lose its suspense. The most exciting competition was still 20 years ago. At that time, my friend also participated in the game, and I went there to cheer for him. The last round was played in a video forest. In the end, no one dared to approach them, and no one knew what was going on in the depths of the forest. Then I heard the Academia shut down the competition. Later, the Interdarshan Championship removed many of the events in which people fought to the death, discouraging people from being desperate enough to do so. What is your friend like? Wait a minute. So, back in the day, this was some tuning exam shit? Like, no holds barred, like, just straight up, yeah, we will fight to the death. Oh my god, that's insane. Anyway, sir, what's your friend like? Let me think. He's honest and kind, but he's also vulnerable and sensitive. Most of all, he cares about us. When we drink together, our time is filled with laughter and cheer. It's just too bad that it's all in the past now. Among the friends we drank with, some died, some disappeared, some now live in seclusion. They say fate is fickle. Perhaps it's true. Looks like something did happen 20 years ago. Right? Didn't Wikas tell us to seek him out if we had any questions? Now that we have time, why don't we ask him? Okay. Time will erase all traces of one's existence. Damn, sir. I have long forgotten much of the merry times during my days as a student. Even now, I'm unsure of what exactly I'm reminiscing about. Perhaps I'm just reluctant to admit I'm getting old. Nah, sir, that's kinda... I don't want to trigger the stuff, so... Sir. To be young. Oh, is that all you say? Oh, that's fine. You know, that's cool. It's whatever. Wait, I have to go all the way back to Sumeru City? Oh my god, help. Who's this again? Wikas. Was he inside? Wow, this... The details on this is like... real deep. Like, we're going layers, dude. We're going 20 years back. Trying to find out what happened. I wonder if this is mandatory to finish the main event quest, though. It's a thing. Okay, where is this man? Oh no. Oh god. I almost fell through the aether again. Ether, ha ha ha. Hey, Wikas, what's up? Nerd! This is exactly what my boyfriend looks like. Oh my god. That incident from 20 years ago? Why the sudden question? Did you hear any particular information? We've heard that the diadem seems to have been lost 20 years ago, and some contestants' personality has changed. You seem to know a lot about that. Wikas, is there something you're not telling us? Not exactly. I was 5 years old when it happened. How could I know? But there are things I've never told anyone. I'm actually a part of the Academia Extravaganza's planning committee because of the influence of a senior colleague. That senior colleague and I met on a trip. He was a bit timid and would always flee and cower somewhere at the first sign of an emergency. One day, 4 years ago, I said to him, I want to go back to the Academia. The Academia Extravaganza is about to begin. And then, upon mentioning the Academia Extravaganza, he got startled and said something about, it has nothing to do with me. When I said goodbye to him, he insisted on getting a drink with me. After several drinks, he started talking all sorts of nonsense. I also had too many, and in my drunken stupor, I didn't really hear him that well. I only remember that he said that he lost the Diadem of Knowledge for a while. He was in charge of the distribution and recovery of the Diadem of Knowledge, and that he nearly had a heart attack upon realizing that the diadem was missing. Fortunately, he finally found it in a tree hole. Like the one we saw before. He said that the Diadem of Knowledge is a very valuable treasure, which is recorded in many ancient books. Legend has it that it was built by a famous craftsman in ancient times, and carries a secret that no one knows. Sachin has entrusted the Academia to safeguard the diadem. After all, if my senior was responsible for the diadem's disappearance, he could not afford to pay for it with his meager wealth. Even if the loss was temporary, no one should know of it, lest the Academia find him guilty of gross negligence. Ooh. So he covered it up? Yes, it seems that he also said that many people came to inquire about it, including children, but he said that the diadem had never been lost. But he was so scared that when things blew over, he quit his job and left the academia. I drank too much that night, and when I woke up the next day, he was gone. The more I thought about it, the more I had a bad feeling that issues would crop up in the academia extravaganza if entrusted to someone like him. I didn't have a job at the time, so I joined the Academia Extravaganza Planning Committee. I tried to investigate things on the inside too, but I couldn't find anything. And the diadem was found, and the man whose personality was said to have changed was dead, and there was nothing to be found. Still, 20 years is a long time. Long enough that the people involved from the beginning no longer remember nor care. That's all I know. If you're curious, keep investigating, and maybe one day, you'll discover the truth. That's easy for you to say. We don't have much to go on. Do you have any more information, like where the senior colleague went? I haven't heard from him. Later, I also went to the desert to look for him, but in the vast desert, it was almost impossible to run into him. To make up for it, I do have some information on Sachin. Would you like to hear it? Sure, tell us. When I was traveling, I did so with an eremite commander. While we were chatting, he said he came into possession of an article written by an academia researcher. He seemed to think it was something precious and refused to show it to anyone, only to let me peek at it at my request. I only caught a glimpse of it, but I saw that it was signed by Sachin. I didn't know who Sachin was, nor did I care. After joining the Academia Extravaganza Planning Committee, I found out that he was an important member of the Vahumana Darshan who sponsored the event. If you're interested, you can find the Eremite commander in the desert. He's usually in the Valley of Dari. Information related to Sachin? Alright, let's go take a look. Damn, we are going all sorts of places, dog. So, have you got any news? Oh, okay. Hey, sir. Thank you for all your information. It's kind of a lot to take in. Didn't understand like half of it, honestly. Where is this man? Oh, he's literally right there. A senior. Is this him? What do you want? Whoa, this guy looks real fierce. Either say your piece or leave. I have no time for you. Actually, we heard that you have Sachin's article on you, so we were wondering if we could have a look. Are you kidding me? No? Why would you ask that? It seems like you guys really don't know. Some time ago I had the article appraised. Turns out it's nothing more than a personal travel journal and is of little value. He hired my father to keep him safe. That Sachin fellow would often walk, ask, write, and mumble. There was one time his papers were blown away by the wind. He said it was no big deal. My father, however, thought that things written by intellectuals must be valuable, so he looked around for them at night with a torch. None among my family can read. My father cherished this article and then passed it on to me. I had no idea it was completely worthless. Sounds unfortunate, but do you still have it? Yes, you want to have a look? You can look at it as much as you want. Since it's not worth anything, there's no need for me to be so stingy. Dude, you sound stingy even without being stingy or whatever you said. Unclear notes. Once the gods reigned supreme. Oh no. Oh no. Is this gonna be some crazy lore, dog? Whenever they say gods. Once the gods reigned supreme, all life flocked to them like sheep, seeking shepherds. And those who suffered did so in silence. Now divine power has dwindled into while human wisdom has blossomed. However, those who suffer face suffering still. There is a saying in Niue that goes, life is like lodging at an inn, and in Inazuma, all things are but void. It hurts every time I read these words. I tried to seek the reason for this. The wheel of time turns, and the only constant throughout Sumeru's history is human nature. Since arriving in the desert, I have conducted a total of 64 experiments over the course of 7 years. That's a lot, dude. I don't believe that. Men are like prisoners or captured animals, feeding on each other's happiness until one is doomed to eternal torment. Therefore, where there is gain, there must be loss. Where there is happiness, there is agony. Everyone is a victim, but everyone is also a perpetrator. Greed and numbness reside in the heart of humanity. Driven by greed, humans choose to commit evil, and numbness is why they turn a blind eye to the evil of others. But if this is what the world is, what is, then, the meaning of the world? The future is to the present as the present is to the past. Peace was never an option. Conflict is the eternal truth. Everything, from my knowledge, my wisdom, to my life, is but nothingness. Damn, dude. Make that into a song by MCR. So this is the article that Sachin wrote. To be honest, Paimon can't make sense of any of it. But judging from the crummy handwriting, Paimon can't say exactly why, but Paimon has a feeling he was going through a tough time. Well, we're done reading it. Thank you very much. You're welcome. It's not worth any money, but I'm going to keep it anyway. After all, my father entrusted it to me. Come see me again if you want to look at it again. Okay. Thanks, sir. Want to read it again? Oh god, no. Thank you, my good sir. There's no second, or, I mean, there's no third part. These are all the Darshans. And this is the main event. It's some really interesting quest line, tidbits, and everything. But I think I'm gonna end it there, because if I start with the next part of the Inter-Darshan competition, it's gonna be real weird, so yeah. Okay, well, also I'm sleepy. Okay.